Linda Thompson is 42 years old, married 22 years, combined household income $135,000, retirement account growing steadily at $92,000, two-story suburban house, everything looks fine. But today, at 42, Linda does something that will change her financial outcome at 65 by $770,000. She calculates her Phantom Wealth Index, score 34, danger zone, illusion of wealth. The marriage looks solid, the numbers look healthy, but the forensic analysis says otherwise. This is the same Linda from last week's episode, same person, same divorce at 50. But this Linda has something the other one didn't: 8 years of warning. Most people wait for the crisis to force their hand. Linda didn't. At 42, she ran the numbers, recognized the vulnerability, and began defensive financial positioning, not because the marriage was failing, but because the math said she was exposed. 8 years later, the divorce still happened. The court still split everything 50-50. The system was still unfair. But Linda wasn't starting from scratch. This is the autopsy of preparation. What happens when you get the warning signs 8 years before the trap springs? If you watched last week, you saw Linda at 50, $82,000, rent trapped, 1.1 million short. That was the reality timeline. This is the prepared timeline. Same woman, same age, same divorce, radically different starting position. The assessment that warned her? Link in the description. 3 minutes, free. It shows you which traps you're in and how much time you have to respond. Now let me show you exactly what Linda did in those 8 years and why it worked.
Part 2. The 8-year preparation. Year 1, age 42, recognition. The PWI score said 34, vulnerable. Linda didn't panic, she observed. Phantom Wealth Index measures the gap between what you think you own and what you'd actually keep in a forced liquidation event. 34 meant she was in the illusion zone. Wealth that felt real, but wouldn't survive disruption. She couldn't control whether the marriage would last, but she could control her positioning if it didn't. So she started building separate financial infrastructure, quietly, methodically, legally. Years 2 and 3, age 43 to 44, foundation building. Linda opened a Roth IRA in her name only. Contribution structured. She funded the Roth using her consulting income, not the joint checking account. In the eyes of the law, she wasn't just saving, she was segregating income. No commingling, no legal ambiguity. $6,000 per year maximum contribution, $12,000 over 2 years. She also started a consulting side business, project management training, nights and weekends, not because she needed the money, because she needed the infrastructure. If divorce happened, she'd have an income stream already established, clients already onboarded, systems already built. First year, $800 a month. Second year, $1,200 a month. Small, but operational. Years 4 and 5, age 45 to 46, strategic positioning. Linda didn't wait for a crisis to force geographic relocation. She and her husband moved to a lower cost of living area 90 minutes away. Sold the expensive suburban house, bought a smaller one with a lower mortgage. Linda framed the move as retirement acceleration. If we lower our fixed costs by 22% now while we're both earning, we can retire at 62 instead of 67. We're buying ourselves 5 years of freedom. Her husband saw the math. He agreed. The equity from the sale? Linda pushed to put more of it into retirement accounts rather than the new house. Higher retirement savings, lower home equity. Home equity gets split and liquidated, retirement accounts compound. They moved from a $400,000 house to a $325,000 house. The difference, plus sale proceeds, went into maxed out 401k contributions for both of them. Combined retirement account at 46, $187,000, growing faster than if they'd stayed in the expensive house. And Linda's separate Roth IRA, $59,000. Linda's separate brokerage, $22,000. She also maintained an emergency fund, $15,000, in her name. If divorce happened tomorrow, she wouldn't be scrambling for first month's rent. Year 8, age 49, final positioning. 1 year before the divorce, Linda made her final defensive move. She transitioned to full remote work. Same employer, same salary, but location independent. Why? Because if the divorce forced her to relocate to stay affordable, she wouldn't also lose her income. Job security and geographic flexibility locked in. Combined retirement account at 49, $271,000. Linda's separate Roth, $71,000. Linda's separate brokerage, $34,000. Linda's emergency fund, $18,000. Linda's consulting income, $2,500 per month, operational. She wasn't hoping the marriage would survive. She wasn't hoping it would fail. She was positioned for either outcome.
The marriage ended. Same reason as last week's timeline. Same irreconcilable differences. Same 50-50 court order. The judge split the retirement account. $271,000 became $135,500 each. The judge split the home equity. $112,000 became $56,000 each. But here's what didn't get split. Linda's Roth IRA, $71,000, hers alone. Linda's brokerage account, $34,000, hers alone. Linda's emergency fund, $18,000, hers alone. Linda's consulting business, $2,500 per month, hers alone. Reality Timeline Linda, Episode 5A. Retirement account, $82,000. Cash, 0. Monthly income, $6,200, job only. Housing, forced into $2,400 per month rental. Side income, 0. Starting position, 82.5K. Prepared Timeline Linda, Episode 5B. Retirement account, $135,500. Roth IRA, $71,000. Brokerage, $34,000. Emergency fund, $18,000. Monthly income, $8,700, job plus consulting. Housing, already in affordable area, $1,400 per month rent. Side income, $2,500 per month operational. Starting position, 258.5K. Difference, $176,500. And that's just the starting position. Linda had 8 extra years of compounding in her separate accounts. Her Roth IRA at 50 had contributions from age 42 through 49. That's 8 years of growth the reality timeline Linda will never have. But more important, she had systems already operational. Linda's consulting business at 50 wasn't just extra income, it was operational infrastructure. In the reality timeline, she had to build a business from scratch during the crisis. In the prepared timeline, she had $2,500 per month flowing on day 1 of the divorce. No ramp-up period, no scramble. The remote work agreement didn't need to be negotiated during crisis. It was already in place. The affordable housing location didn't need to be researched under financial pressure. She was already there. Preparation isn't about predicting the future. It's about not being forced to build everything during the crisis. Reality Timeline Linda's projection at 65, $680,000. Prepared Timeline Linda's projection at 65, $1.45 million. Difference, $770,000. Same person, same divorce, same age, different preparation window. The $770,000 gap isn't about working harder or earning more after the divorce. It's about having 8 years to position before the divorce forced her hand. Where did the $770,000 come from? Component 1, larger starting base, $176,500 higher starting position, compounds for 15 years at 7%, contribution to the gap, $490,000. Component 2, operational systems, consulting income already flowing, no ramp-up period needed, immediate $2,500 per month to retirement, contribution to the gap, $180,000. Component 3, no forced scramble, already in affordable housing, no emergency relocation costs, no income disruption, preserved capital, $100,000. Total preparation advantage, $770,000. When I studied the same 50 divorced women from last week's episode, I found something interesting. 31 of them had some form of early warning, a friend's divorce, a financial scare, a health crisis that forced planning. Those 31 who got the warning and acted on it, average financial outcome at retirement, $1.3 million. The 19 who had no warning and reacted during crisis, average financial outcome, $690,000.
Warning gap, $610,000 on average. Early information doesn't prevent the crisis, but it changes how you enter it. Linda at 42 didn't know the divorce was coming, but she knew she was vulnerable, and she knew she had time to prepare. The 8 years from 42 to 50 gave her the single most valuable asset in financial planning: runway. She didn't need to be perfect, she didn't need to predict the future, she just needed to be positioned. And when the divorce happened at 50, she wasn't starting from zero. She was already in motion. You're not Linda. Your situation is different. Your numbers are different. Your timeline is different. But the principle is universal. If you have warning, use it. If you have runway, don't waste it. The assessment below shows you which trap you're in and how much time you have. If you're 42, you might have 8 years. If you're 48, you might have 2. If you're 51, you might be in the crisis right now. But the earlier you know, the more options you have. Linda had 8 years to build infrastructure. Even with 2 years, you can position defensively. The assessment shows you exactly which moves still have time. Link in description, alexobserves.beehive.subscribe. Free, 3 minutes, shows you exactly where you stand. Drop a comment. Did this change how you think about early warning systems?